Hey everybody, as I like to say, what up peeps? Dude, what is going on? What is going on, everybody? Because this energy today, it is so not cool. It is like, it's very familiar and it's unfamiliar at the same time. It's kind of like this really disgusting, angry, revolting, let me adjust my camera here. It just, I don't know, how do I even direct this whole video? I guess it started off this morning. A friend of mine, well, I guess it was my fault. I was watching TMZ yesterday, and I've been trying to work on not looking at things on television and responding to that frequency, because it's called television programming for a reason. Though we're called fake news and conspiracy theorists, allegedly those programs can, by science, inspire or instigate people to behave a certain way. I don't like to go in that territory of dialogue on YouTube, because I've been watching other channels get bam over this stuff, but I've just been going through so much, and I feel like this is like my window of ventilation here. Here's my dream catcher. It's funny how most people drive with a dream catcher. You know, it's the place where we rest. It's where we meditate too, is in the car. All of our thoughts come. Anyways, but back to topic. I was noticing how we acknowledge O.J. Simpson, right? And the Kardashians, though people have their thoughts and opinions about them, we still validate one of the younger sisters who edited her body at a young age because she wanted to, and her mom let her. And it's been sort of like, it's been sort of instituting other people to follow the leader, or follow, you know, people who cannot make decisions for themselves end up following other people, or they follow the lead. They are what they call the sheep. And there's some of us who are the rams, like we are ahead of our own. We don't need to follow this and that. But I got aggravated because I had a friend of mine who I know and love very well, and their comment was, oh, because I was like on the topic of all this president hate, 45 hate, F him, and he's this and he's that, and I'm like, that energy and frequency is as worse as what you're accusing him of. And I don't live with that kind of animosity towards someone that I have not had a personal connection with or a disconnection with. So I reserve my biased opinion, but I follow my heart, and I follow how God moves, our Father, or however you see, or the angels around the situation. It may not even be the source of the person who's aware of what's going on, but certainly his actions are not of his own. There's another entity working behind the scenes, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And people who don't have Christ consciousness or resist having that type of faith in their life are the ones who are revolting right now. Don't you see what war is going on? It's like there's this grand manipulation, or this grand serpent-like deception that has gone on in certain people, and you're like, wait, but I thought we got along very well. Why are you disagreeing with me? So I'm gonna pull over and have the rest of this dialogue. But long story short, it just disheartened me how my friend totally was against me. He was saying, you know, we're all doomed, like, you know, the spring, the chemical trails, and blah blah blah, the blah 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 blah, and the advanced weaponry and satellite this. I'm like, you know what? I'm very much aware of our weather patterns are not normal, and I'm very much aware that there are other entities that know how to, I don't know, I don't have the proof, and I don't want to go through all that drama, because that'll get my channel a mark. But I'm a suspicious observer, and We had a fire here in California, the west coast of California. There was a big fire that we had, and I was just really upset because I don't want to cry. They call it the holy fire, and I guess it just makes me so angry, and I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be upset. I'm tired of I'm tired of living in a world where they're taking things that are so special. Do you guys know, like, the holy fire in Jerusalem, when Christ has his, or Jesus himself has his apparition to the people, and his tomb, where apparently that's where he last was. They preserved it. They didn't open it. They just kind of left it as it is. But every year, and I've seen the videos, I'll actually post a video of it below in the description box, but it's really beautiful that he is real, and I know he is, and he lights. It's fascinating. People will have candles and they light the ceremony, the moment that the tomb or the memorial where they have of Jesus, there's wick and there's a candle, and then sometimes it's just a log. And what happens is at a certain time and place, it will ignite, and then once that flame is ignite, it kind of shows proof and evident that there's someone on the other side speaking to the people, saying you need to believe. And it's really beautiful, and I got emotional because it's just, they named this fire Holy Fire, and I'm like, they're trying to erase history. Like, when you Google search Holy Fire, it's no longer gonna say where, you know, Jews and the Palestinians and whoever resides in that area goes to get a visitation from Christ himself. Don't you guys understand what's going on? It really breaks my heart to pieces. And the message from Christ, from Jesus, the bearer of the Christ consciousness, he is enraged. If you guys know the feeling right now, why you feel so upset and you don't know why, the Christ in us is resonating with the epicenter of where it started, and that being, that person, is responding and is, if I don't even want to say the word, but for someone to have so much love and compassion and to teach love and healing, and to be of your pure heart, all of a sudden is like enraged and is ready to, like, you know, seek and destroy, like, these people who mock. And yes, Holy Gym is a city in the hills of, I think it's Tustin, Santa Ana, California, but it just changed the name. Why take something of a very significant background and label it, knowing that people's lives are being sacrificed, knowing that their homes are being destroyed, and knowing that someone intentionally said it? That's the allegation today, that I guess they just found someone and made him a suspect, because they can do that now. Which is why I do not have DNA tests, by the way, people. Oh no. I will not be spitting in a cup, and I will not be giving my blood over to DNA tests, because in my theory, it's like, if there's a way to frame someone, it will be the agencies who have your data. And that's another topic and issue that's going on too, is all this surveillancing of us, to where we're going to pretty much be goldfish in a tank, and we can't do anything but leave to go to our assigned job, if we are assigned, and come back home and be in a vegetative state, because there's no food and resources liable, and then we're going to have to, it's just, the future that I foresee scares me. And then the reality that I try to speak my divinity to is what I really hope we go to. But it's a tilting point that we live in right now. It's very crucial. I just have so much feel. I told you guys, you watch my videos, the funniest things happen. Those are my affirmations. And if Jesus were real, that would be his response, because he is a comedian. If you guys really know, if you know him as a person, as a friend, a best friend, a brother, he likes to joke around. I'll tell you guys this funny story since I'm all emotional. So I lived in Sacramento in 2015. I had problems with facing addiction. Yep. And I saw myself spiraling down a very, very dark tunnel. And because I entertained people, not so much the subject or substances, it was the people. I was in a lonely place where I was just hanging out with people just because I hung out with people, because I was their resource of friendship. Like, I was just there and I was watching them destroy themselves, and times I participated, times I didn't. I was going down a very slippery slope. And so I drove to Sacramento to do a special career workshop, and I should have just turned around and came back home, but I went to Sacramento, or San Francisco from Sacramento, because it was on the route back to Los Angeles. Long story short, I went in to go to a bar. I got really drunk. I came back outside, and the rental car that I had, all the windows were shattered. They stole everything that could have been. Basically, my whole identity was robbed. My social security was gone. I had my ID with me. My ATM card wasn't with me. I had $40 cash in my pocket. So I had $40 of gas to drive 5 hours to get back home. And because I basically had my medical file with me stolen, my laptop was stolen, my journal with all the stuff that I'm sharing with you all at that time, I was really far out there in terms of like these messages. I was super all over the place. Super all over the place. And I talked about like close encounters and everything. And someone had basically stole this, and come to think of it now, I'm like, whoa. Could that have been planned, you know? So when I came back home, I had nothing to really return to. So a friend of mine offered me a place to stay in Sacramento in 2015. So June of 2015, I took the offer. I said, you know, I'm done with LA. Done. I don't want to go down the slippery slope, the dark tunnel. I ran from the dark night of the soul, only learning that you can't run from the dark night of the soul, because it is you at the end of the day. But when I was up there, I basically ran into someone 4 months later, a homeless man who asked for food. And I said, well, I don't have food to give you, but I have money. He's like, but I don't want money, I want food. And so I pulled out a $20 bill, and I'm like, look, go in the store right there and get yourself whatever you want. I was making good money at the time. And I had a good, clean life, and things were great. My vibration was great. I was hiking daily. So long story short, he was like, do you read the Bible? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. So he pulls out this little mini blue book. And I kind of know it's like the book of John. It's a tiny little blue book. And he says, what do you know about this? And he pointed to my heart. And I kid you not, you guys, when he touched my heart, when he poked my heart, the electricity in my body, it felt like clear. And I was like, oh. And he's like, Aaron, when you go back to LA, you will have better faith, but it starts with right now. And he hit my heart again. And in my mind, I'm like, I need to believe in myself more. I'm in charge of this reality. I'm the one who can manifest the good reality. And I came back literally that September, October, and I have been in the best place ever since then. My career has been full-fledged. My gifts, my metaphysical gifts have been amazing too. I've been a very uplifted person, but I'm watching how the world is corrupted now, and our society is corrupted, and there's people who paying money to laugh at us for being corrupted, and it baffles me that some of us are now coming to the code 144. 144 resonates with us, and it sucks that we look at the phones where 411 is information, right? They've been using this against us not against us, but kind of rubbing it in our face when we were so blind about it. And by they, I don't know who they are, but I know that there are people who have this information. They already know all this. They're already awakened. And some of them are, 33rd degree. I won't say the other word, but the 33rd degree in terms of their leadership. And people don't understand what that means. It means that they have got to a certain level of awareness where they know how everything functions. They know what seeds to plant. They know how we live in an inverse. So everything that's said backwards is how it's understood. Everything that is understood forward to back, that's where people get trapped. And they know how to trap people in a matrix. And some of us who are observers, who speak our observation, they respect that, believe it or not. They kind of go, yay, finally. But long story short, the person who is of a 33 runs our country right now. So why wouldn't you want to accept somebody despite what everyone's telling you, despite what the television programming is telling you? Those are just bullies and people who are not in that position. And all of these subjects that accuse him are mostly predominantly from rich women and power. So do you guys know who I'm talking about? The only rich woman with that much corruption that would create this much attention because she lost and is a sore loser is what is creating these circumstances to have this revenge and revolt against this one person. And it sucks because people don't see the morality, the immorality, the immoral things that they are poisoning people with in between, and people who are attaching themselves to that timeline. They're getting disrupted, they're getting corrupted and ripped apart, and it's like the breaking down of the human psychology. I'm watching it slowly deteriorate, and it scares me. Like, I think we're gonna start seeing dementia really early if people are not in tune with their soul, if they're not tapped into the higher conscious. We really need to start pushing ourselves, and we need to raise our vibrations and stay up. Because if what I feel today is just from today, I don't know how we're gonna sustain another I don't even want to say 3 months. It's horrible what like. If you're an empath, you know what I'm talking about. You're like angry and aggressive one moment, and then you're like, what? I don't get that way. Or you're driving from point A to B, and you're watching how the people are so, you can feel what they are going through just by watching how they drive. It is such an ugly energy. And you try to forgive and you try to move forward, but then you find yourself drowning in that same, you're repeating yourself over and over of the same message to where you are tired and worn out. And I don't know how much longer I can keep on topic with sustaining my peace and clarity with everyone. It's like every day I'm trying to fight myself, trying to stay positive. And then I'm watching people who I know and love very well falling apart, and it breaks my heart. And then we're looking at the outer side, these fires and hurricanes that are the same names, and we're being made fun of. We're being bullied because these people who set these traps and set the way that life goes. And did you guys hear that again? That's really funny. I don't make this stuff up. Yeah, you can't make it up. That's how I know what I'm saying is true. It's from the divine. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I really do think everyone needs to try to fast 1 meal a day. If you can, even if you don't practice a religion, it doesn't matter. To raise your vibration, first you sometimes have to flush out the emotions that are in you. And fasting finds those areas where you have not really ironed it out. For me, it was anger, which I've ignored anger here and there, and sometimes I've had to talk myself out of being angry. But I fasted today, like half a day, and I was just like, I'm so angry right now. But I need that energy. It's the only way to heighten my vibration, to be aware of what was going on, and to be clear sense of what was happening around me. It had really nothing to do with religion. It has something to do with myself and the position of myself. So I love you all. Thank you for sticking around for this long video. I hope it was very informative. And thank you for putting up with my tears and emotion. I'm very compassionate. I'm very sensitive. If you don't know me, I'm a Capricorn, and I'm a 5 power number with a 6 soul number. So I'm very, very, and I'm a, I guess I'm a Mercury, Virgo rising. That's what someone told me. That means at the turning point of the womb in the pregnancy, I was Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Virgo rising. So I have a lot of spontaneous combustion that I have to do the inner work to bring forth the balance, if you know what I mean. Oh, Lord of mercy. So that's a little bit about me. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Try to write down how you want things to go. It's our only way to combat this war. We have to stop observing and talking about what is happening, and we need to start planting the seeds of what we want to happen, and we have to manifest. If we don't, we're just going to be sitting here miserable, and we're more capable than being miserable. We are of the love, and we spread the light. Bye, everybody.